Welcome to the Mark Attwood Show, Adventures in the Cosmic Suit. How's it going? Are you good? Good. Pleased to hear it. You've got to be good. It's the only way. It's a choice. Be good or not good. Be good. It's a good choice. I'm very lucky today because I'm being joined by three amazing women who are teaching people how to expand your starseedness and teaching people about Ascension, which is nice, isn't it? Because we all need a little bit of help in this department. So you'll recognize the first one. Hello, IndigoAngel. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. Yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited to dive into the Starseed expansion topics today.
Me too. Me too. And we've got some other friends of yours. And we've got LIGHTSTAR. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Appreciate, and I'm excited to be here with all of you.
Well, you're winning the Backdrop Award at the moment. That's beautiful.
This is my magical kingdom. We got to be magical wherever we go.
That's really cool. And we've also got Aloha Pink Bella. Hello. Have I said it right? We have a slight freeze problem, I think. Okay, I'm good. Well, let's get chatting.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm so grateful.
It might be an internet issue.
I think it is. Yeah.
Here. Thank you for having us today. I am doing well.
I got that bit. Oh, good. Okay, you're just about. Do you want to tell us about what you're here to talk about today? Who wants to kick off?
Well, I'll kick it off. So yeah, essentially we're so excited. I think between the three of us, we had a clarion call from the stars, from the consciousness of the celestial bodies. And, you know, we've come together at this time to put together an amazing course that has to do with starseed expansion and advanced levels of consciousness. And it's kind of coming at a time because we really have had a wave of awakening, I think, come through the planetary field, through stellar activation cycles. And so we're putting together a course that is designed to essentially teach about all of those processes of ascension mechanics, advanced chakra, understanding ascension mechanics, and also about there's so much involved in this course, really. I mean, it's hard to kind of like break it all down, but really we're all teaching a different aspect of it, so to speak. And so we're kind of excited to just really let people know that we have this course going on, and to invite those that feel called to the clarion call of this, because it's really going to be very expansive for those that are looking for the next galactic attunement. And we're just excited to talk about it. We're excited to share all about it today.
Well, that's cool, because Ascension's a bit like Shrek's onion, isn't it? It's just like layer after layer after layer after layer after layer. And a lot of us need a bit of help. I certainly have needed guidance through this, because it's kind of happening naturally, but it's like, what's going on? You know? And that's why you guys like you do this sort of thing, because you're serving humanity. What's your story, LIGHTSTAR? Because I've had IndigoAngel on the show 3 times, I think, 3 times, but I've never met you before. So
I know. Well, I'm basically an artist. I'm a visionary artist, or I call myself a visual attunement artist. And so that's my main thing. But I've been really getting into music. So I do music activation as well. And I do starseed work. So I'm also assisting people doing session work, and I do custom art. And I got my hands in a lot of pieces here to activate people. I do my way is through art and also light language. I speak over 20 different languages. So that's one of the things I'm going to be bringing to the table.
20?
Yeah, over 20. It's yeah. I'm one of those people that there are other people that speak multiple light languages, but there's not as many people that speak the multiple languages. I usually come across people that will speak 1 or 2 maybe, but I had a download of a stream that it just, it's part of my mission, it's part of who I am, it's part of what I'm here to do. And part of my mission was to bring light language here to people more so that it would be more commonplace. And actually, since I started bringing it out over a decade ago, now it is. Okay. When I first started, no, it wasn't. I was one of the few people out there doing that, especially on YouTube. So that's kind of one of my, I guess, things that I'm here to bring to the table. And so that's what my YouTube channel kind of focuses on that. So I do a lot of activating on my YouTube channel with a lot of the different languages that I have in my repertoire. But I actually have been told that I have about 125 languages that are sitting up there in the ethers, but I can't pull them all down. I pulled down over 20, and that's kind of enough for me. So, but occasionally now, like I had a lot of them come in, but occasionally now some new ones will come in just when I'm ready to open up to that. So that's kind of what I do in a nutshell.
Amazing. Do you want to give us a bit of light language?
Of course. Does anyone have a request? I mean, I don't know if I can speak it if you have the request, but if you have
my request personally, maybe the Lyrans, because I've been really connecting with them lately.
And Indigo sprayed her Lyran activation spray already, so let's get some Lyran on. Okay. So as I say to everybody, when you're listening to light language, for those people who aren't familiar with it, just listen with the heart. Just kind of tune in and listen to the heart energy, and don't try to analyze it from the mind. Just put that off to the side for a moment, okay? And just take a moment and breathe. Randara sanir rontoru sutar marheria hurushuru undar layas nayatur maranteri hurutushoro kuharandarias murubaratira huroshi halayas nonotorukuye oso tiri armar arte seri uturuku shayeyara una matarieras urukurir niri randara urosho roko yiteriaran urumanatelira shaniataraloho uramarais harmarateri urokuriashirar maraturo shiyerendiri urokurayanda marataralisar marashes. Just a little greeting from the Lyrans there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that one's really lyrical, appropriately named.
Can I ask the differences that you feel as you shift into different?
Oh, absolutely.
Origins.
Yeah, there is a major difference and I've been told that when people are watching, because a lot of times my light languages, I used to do them one only, and then now they're just kind of rolling when I do the activations one into the other. And I definitely feel an energy shift. Now, for me, I feel a lot going right around my shoulders. Like as I'm doing this, that's where it comes in for me. And I really feel it, like it tingles. I feel the angel bumps, as we say. I feel that coming into my body. And then every time it will change or shift to another one, sometimes my face will change or my features will change or my expression. And I also feel a different energy vibe. Like it's a whole different frequency that comes in. And yet some of them are transmissions and not necessarily languages. Okay. Well, Arcturians, for example, always just do transmissions. And so it comes in with a completely different energy there too, but they're all very unique and different. The fairy energy comes in as a whisper because that's how they came through for me. I can't even speak it as a voice because they're telepathic. So, you're going to get, how do you speak telepathic? That's what I asked when I could, how do I speak the fairy language? It was more like, well, how do I speak telepathic? And then I said, well, the energy was more like the wind coming through the trees, energy. And so it's like a whisper. So that's
that went through the top of my shoulders when you were
yeah.
doing that.
Well, see, a lot of people get it through there. I mean, I do. That's where I get it. But some people get it through the top of their head. Some people get it like, anywhere in the body. And I always see people doing like little jumps, little shifts, little like quirks almost. Yeah, because it actually shifts your body. And a lot of us remember these languages. So part of the reason is for us to open up and to have some recall or memory of these languages and who we are and what we're about. And we're all bringing this from a higher dimension, higher levels. And so that opens us up and activates us for sure.
I got woken up once by the King of the Fairies.
Oh, yay. Well, I can tell you have a lot of elemental energies for sure. So I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saving that story for a book, but yeah, it kept waking me up at night. And it was like that.
Yeah, it's I love doing that. There's so much fun to do the elementals, or either be elven or fae, because they lighten our life up. We are so heavy and heady and into seriousness here on this planet, literally serious too, but the fairy energy lightens us up, and we really need that on this planet. There's so much heavy stuff, and so that's why I really like to bring in some of the elemental energies for that purpose too.
That's why there's a forest literally 3-4 minutes from here, and if I ever feel heavy, I just go for a walk through that forest, and they're all around. It's amazing. I think the Japanese forest bathing, but we I'm telling this for the viewers. You don't underestimate the power of walking amongst nature and the elementals. It's so incredible. So can you teach people how to do this, Star? Couldn't you teach people how to? Are you going to be doing that on the?
I am going to be talking about that in the class. My way of, there's certain things I'm going to be teaching people as far as that goes, but it's not like I want people to be doing exactly what I'm doing, because I want to activate people's own frequency to come through in their own way. So really what I'm going to be doing is just more inspiring people to get out of their own way, to let that come through, because that's just how I want to do it. In my section of the class, I'm really going to be doing that because I have seen other people that do teach light language, and I really don't think it's something that you can teach unless you're just going to have them regurgitate exactly what you're doing. And that's not what I'm here to do. It's really more opening people up. My view is that everyone can speak their own mother tongue, is what I call it. So everyone can, at least one, even if you don't think that people can. So that's what I'm going to be bringing, is just helping people to understand, to remember that, to remember their abilities. And
that's a big part of my mission, is helping people remember who they are. And it's just fantastic. The last 3 years has just been amazing for this, positive thing. You guys watching this, there's a link below this video to the course. If you want to go and check it out, you can do that. Are you doing it? Is it like a fixed time thing, or is it a live course that you're doing?
So it is a live webinar event. It is a 4-day event. It's actually about 20 hours. I calculated it up and I was like, wow, we are doing about 20 hours, because between the three of us, we're teaching 2-hour segments at a time. And so we each have our own individual teachings that we're going to do 2 classes of that. And then the third class of the day will be either like a galactivation or kind of like a group healing. And these are very powerful because they are shared collective mind fields. So when we enter into these live webinar events, we are instantaneously kind of connecting within all of the energy of everyone who's there, also the mind fields. And it expansively opens up the psychic fields, the telepathic fields, the claircognizance, and allows us to go, I think, a lot deeper when we hold that space together like that. And so, yeah, it's really, really amazing. And I've done these before, and just the transformational results from this is, I hear about it for months and months and months and months afterwards. like people just being like, my gosh, like my field was so expanded. There was so much healing that came through. And what I love about this is there's 3 of us with 3 different unique perspectives on galactic consciousness, all carrying our own authentic galactic code that we're transmitting. And so it really is going to give a diverse perspective of what galactic consciousness is, allowing people to develop their own authenticity within that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about what LIGHTSTAR is doing is it's very unique. She's teaching the light language aspect of it. And I wanted to ask you, as you were doing that just a second ago, was how was it that people can get past their throat chakra blockage to do this? Because it seems like that's kind of that's like the main thing.
That is what that is the main thing. That's what I'm going to be focusing on in this class, but just, because that is an issue for everybody. And the other issue that goes along with that is that fear. Okay. That's the main thing behind all of this. And we find a lot of things that people are afraid of what other people will think of them, which is like the main thing when it comes to light language. And I have to say, you literally have to get past that, because there's no way you will open up that energy unless you can get past that. Because you really can't do it otherwise. It's just like your throat chakra can be open to some extent, but it won't fully, completely allow you to do what you need to do, because it's not going to sound like a language that you really can interpret here. French, German, English, whatever. The languages are different. So that is something that we're going to be definitely working on and tracking and helping people to move out of their own way. It's really like, you have to do that. It's like a crucial part of if somebody does want to bring through their own light language or multiple languages or whatever wants to come through. You just have to get past it. It's like literally, you have to almost just say, it doesn't matter what people think of me. I mean, I honestly went through that myself. Like, I thought everyone's gonna think I'm crazy. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, just out there. This is just gonna be. And yet I had to do it anyway.
Yeah, so, it's called the art of not giving a shit.
Yeah. You're asked from higher self to you do this, and you're like, okay.
Well, one of the most profound experiences of my life was an ayahuasca journey, when ayahuasca had me against the wall, literally moving my vocal cords around to get the right frequency to clear 7 chakras. It was really hard work.
Yeah.
But it was real. It was doing this to me. And I was like, I was aware of that at the same time as it happening. And then I remember I was at a friend's villa in Marrakesh, and there were like 30 women there who'd come for a retreat. And I had them all in the garden doing all these tones. This was like 2017. And I was like, what am I doing? But you have to get past this stuff. And it's real and it's powerful. And it's, I'm sort of explaining this just to connect with anybody watching this that, is a bit like, ooh, is that me? Because it is profound when you go through these experiences and you have like these guys. I want to bring Pink Bella in, but I'm not sure the internet, I'm not ignoring you. It's probably so bad. Do you want to try saying hello?
She just suggested in the chat that she might come out and come back in to try to fix her internet.
Yeah, good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, another way you might turn off the video too, if that just at least the audio might come through if that doesn't work, but we could try it.
Yeah, I've just noticed all the private chat.
I think too, there's a lot of deeper levels of healing when it comes to getting the throat chakra cleared. I think a lot of this for divine masculines and divine feminine are really rooted in the sacral chakra as well, because it seems like the throat and the sacral are very interlinked. And what I've seen in terms of the Akashic field going back into the Lemurian times is that there's like an implant system of particular tags or particular wounding that can result in like gag orders, can result in tags kind of even on the voice box or the larynx.
I actually have seen that many times in my session work. When I'm doing my light language chakra clearings, I will actually get to the throat and I will see there's like a shackle around someone's neck. Now, sometimes those shackles are there, like self-imposed shackles, literally. And then there's the external shackles, okay? And some of those, believe it or not, some of these shackles that I've seen are also or I want to say initiated from our own guides. And I know that sounds weird, but I've seen some people that just like, it's like they can't contain their particular power or whatnot. And so they're a little bit shackled just for the sake of, until they, you know, learn a little bit more, or maybe they've used their powers for dark forces before. And so they've kind of put a little bit of a damper on it. So you kind of have to know where those shackles are limitations are coming from. You know, is it
like they can be like coping mechanisms, or
there's a lot of different purposes. So we have to be careful of who we take off the shackles, you know, just like, okay, is it self-imposed? Is it a dark force, which definitely, you know, or is it for a purpose?
And there's also an element of, you know, we've been tampered with, and things get taken and hidden in different dimensions and realms and things like that. And you have to sort of retrieve all these bits and bobs to become your whole self, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I think we all have some kind of implants in us, and some of our implants aren't bad. I don't think. Some of them are from our higher, what I call the medical team. You know, we work with the medical teams. I call them the etheric med team. Sometimes those etheric med teams are placing things in there to enhance your abilities and things of that nature. So I've had one of that in my ear. Like I've had one that I know for a fact because I was working with my med team. And it clicks sometimes, like I can actually hear it. And it just, sometimes when people get the like high pitched tones in their ears and things of that nature, but sometimes I hear this like clicking noise, almost like a recalibration that I hear, and I can actually tune in. And so, you know, but not all of them are good implants either. You know, we've got a lot of stuff we have to remove. And I know Indy works with that a lot, with removing some of those things that are not supposed to be there, that are not helping us.
Well, you know, a lot of people who watch my channel have complained about the ringing in their ears over the last few years, and I've got it now. I can hear it now. Occasionally, I get this really high pitched thing, and what I've learned to do is to acknowledge it, accept it, and let it come in. And that's been a really it's these little tricks and tips that can really accelerate your progress, right?
And sometimes I think if you're actually paying attention to what you're talking about, what you're saying, and then you hear this boop go off in your ear, a lot of times that can be your higher team or your angelic team or your higher self or something communicating with you. And we have a couple of experiences with that around the house here with my partner. And so, you know, sometimes you'll be able to, if you can track it, you know, when it comes in. Sometimes it's random, but there are times when, okay, what was I just talking about?
Do you know what's happening to me? My car alarm. My car alarm's been going off really randomly, and I'm like, okay, what is it? What was I just saying? What was I doing? I've taken it to the mechanic, and he said, "There's nothing wrong with it."
Well, I think that's really true. It's another part of what I'm going to be talking about too in this class is I'm going to be bringing in some information about the master sequences, because when we get things like that, if it's a car alarm, but we also see numbers, these are signs and synchronicities, and they mean certain things that are very important. And so I'm going to be talking about that. I have a way of helping people to also become their own cipher when it comes to the numbers, and how I'm even making a chart for people to really get clarity on the master number sequences, or what we call light or numerical light matrices that come in, and be able to know what they mean and have a way of breaking it down. So I'm really excited to share that. And that's something I'm going to be bringing, and it'll be something that people can utilize to help them. Because a lot of times I hear this all the time, like, I don't know, what does that number mean? What does that number mean? This number came in. What does that mean? And so now I'm kind of have a way of breaking that down and helping people to understand they can do that themselves.
Well, that's great, because I started really noticing the numbers about 9 or 10 years ago, and I was like, what is going on? I had no idea, and that made me have to go and look for it. And the other thing that happened to me was the animals. I got so many, I used to live in Morocco, and this white dove just sat on my window for 2 weeks. I know, it was amazing. See, and we all get all of us are getting these kind of signs, but interpreting them would speed us up. Right.
That's what because I think a lot of us sit in this kind of like, oh, well, that's interesting, kind of mode. And then we don't really get the assistance on how to, utilize that, or how to integrate that, or assimilate what you're receiving in a way that can make sense for everybody. Because, this whole ascension process is quite complicated. I don't think it's supposed to be that way, but I just think that we all make it complicated. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of pieces, and then obviously you get everybody else's different opinions, and then you have to sift through that, and ultimately has to come in here inside of the person individually. But that's what I think. And I'm also going to do that in my class too. In my section of it, I'm going to do that with the higher self. I'm going to bring in a way of really breaking it down. Indy's really good at, I was telling her on this before, that she has this vocabulary that is just so expansive, right? And it's just awesome. Like some people are like, whoa, because, most people don't talk like that. And I think it's super great. So we're going to have Indy being the one that does that. Now, I don't do that. But I bring it in a way that can break it down into layman's terms. And so I think that's what we need, both, though. We need both of those. And so that's why I think it's so great, because we're going to have in this class, and the same with Pink Bella, she's got a completely different way of sharing. And I think it will, in that way, get, people will get it from whatever, angle or perspective that suits them at where they're at this moment. And I think that's what's going to be so exciting, because that means everybody's going to get activated and everyone's going to get the information no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I keep trying to get her into the room, and it's just not working.
I know. I've been messaging her in the chat, just like, maybe go out, come back in and see if that helps. So I think she was trying to do that. It just might not be functioning today.
Yeah, I was saying if there's a way to do it just on audio, but if she turns off the video, sometimes that helps with internet issues. But
with the language part of it, though, it's interesting. When I first started attuning to the awareness of Starseed consciousness, I would say is about 5 years ago that it really came in strong. It was the Lyrans that I had connected with. And it's interesting because I've gone on to interpret Starseed charts and break down the methodology of how to understand that according to astrology and your birth chart, tropical, sidereal, everything. And Lyran was never anything that was in my birth chart. It was never anything that was a marker that was like, yeah, you're a Lyran Starseed. But they were the ones that I connected with that told me to transmit at a higher linguistic frequency. And then I went into a training process with them for a couple years, where it was literally for 2 years, I would sit and integrate the vocabulary. I would sit and integrate and write and write and write and learn the vocabulary and how they wanted me to speak. And it was to be able to transmit in a way that was built into people's subconscious and unconscious to activate those reality fields to come forward. So it is to exclusively just to expand the field, because the Lyrans really work 12th dimensionally. They are a 12th dimensional Elohim soul collective. And so I just listened to the messages and I said, okay, like, I'm so open to receive this information. And I think that's what's so important about Starseed consciousness, is that these are radial intelligence fields. These are star systems. It's not just ET races. It's not just extraterrestrials. It's not just the beings in which we connect to, our guides. It's streams of electrical imprints of data that we can tune in and we can download the information. And I feel like that's what was happening to me when I was getting that message. and they were telling me to transmit this way, that this is what was going to be most important to the development of starseed consciousness here on this earth. And then I was getting shown a lot of new earth prophecy messages in terms of where we were going as a collective in terms of starseed consciousness, and that is actually the future into the 6th race and the 7th root race of development into the 5th dimensional strand, because most of us who are starseeds right now are 4th dimensionally strand activated, but the 6th root race and the 7th root race will be 5th and 6th strand activated. So it will be a common knowledge in those time periods or time phases. And so we're all a part of that process. You know, we're all the receivers and transmitters of this information. We're the galactic code that has to come forward. And it might seem far-fetched. It might seem kind of fantasizal to some people, but I think that those who really get what this is about and have been able to attune to the star systems and the radial intelligence fields, it is coming in, it is streaming in, and there's many new waves that are coming to awaken to this knowledge and this information. And it's really just about planetary ascension. It's really just the evolutionary codes that are coming in.
I think you're activating people that not just on the higher advanced levels, but I think that the encodement and the language that you're speaking and the vocabulary is actually activating people, even if they're not, or they're just getting into it, or they're just listening. There's something about how you say things and how the vocabulary comes out that will initiate them, whether they know it or not. And I feel it happens like with them, and they're just maybe not aware of it. But that's the activation. It's part of what you're training, is getting that activation.
Yeah.
To activate other people. You know, it's just we activate to activate others.
Well, it's all about being more conscious of this, because it's happening whether you like it or not, and it's a lot more. I'm finding it a lot more interesting by understanding it better, because you know, one of the things in the title of your course is Ascension Mechanics, and I find that kind of resonates with me, because I'm looking at I'm an Aries, and the new moon in Aries is next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's coincidentally the same time as the spring equinox. And I have some other friends that are talking about ascensions happening on Tuesday or something like that. So I'm like focusing on being in the right place. There's a really great sacred site here I'm going to go to, and I'm going to sort of meditate, and I'm going to try and imagine this chrism oil going up my spine and going to the right, and actually being active in this process, rather than, because my kind of role in all of this has been like the guy that falls under the bus and then gets up and tells everybody it's okay. But now I'm finding myself
that,
you know, I've just sort of blundered into everything, you know. That's why I said to Indy the other week, I said, I think you sound like a professional. I'm just like the amateur in this. But I think it's really, it's exciting. When are you actually doing the course? What date?
March 31st, April 1st, April 2nd, and April 3rd. So we're coming back on the last day to do a Q&A panel with all three of us.
That's New Year's Eve in the new calendar.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, well, we've been discussing that really the Cabal have, you know, screwed up.
Oh, they messed with our whole calendar system.
Well,
I know the beginning of the calendar for the Mayans is July 1st. I think it's July 1st. Yeah. Or July 25th.
I guess it depends on what calendar you're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's about expanding into the 4th dimension, because we expand past the awareness of the Gregorian, and we come into the perception of other calendar, like the Egyptian, and also the Mayan, which I think are the gatekeepers, because there are civilizational pulse points on the earth where civilization emerged for the first time. And the Mayan pulse point is in Mesoamerica. And that is what really attuned the consciousness of humanity to the galactic synchronization of time, which is the 4th dimensional time perception.
Can you say all that again, please?
In a different way.
I don't know how to say it in a different way. It's basically if you are you know, activating your ancestral encoding to the Mayan civilization. Like you just have this feeling, right? Like maybe I was a Mayan, maybe I lived during this time. I'm really connected to this part of history. I'm very connected to this civilization, this culture. I mean, that is activating to the pulse point, essentially, because you start to dive deeper into the information. I've read a lot of the Mayan Factor with Jose Arguelles, which he's amazing, like literally the best books you can read on the Mayans. And he talks about how they were the masters of galactic synchronization, really connecting to the metagalactic core and the cycles of this versus just the solar sun. So really taking things more expansive galactically. And just the knowledge was just amazing. That I don't think there's anything on the earth that can compare except for maybe the I Ching. The I Ching in Chinese.
I've got that here. Where is it? You just triggered me for something there, because I went to see about 10 years ago. I went to see a talk. There was a guy called John Perkins there who'd written Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and I went to get his book at the end, and he held my hand like this and stared into my eyes for like a minute. It was really amazing. And then 2 days later, I get this book in the post. Carlos Castaneda, the guy that wrote about ayahuasca in South America. Where did that come from? I'm only sharing this for people watching this because, you know, the physical reality that we're in is still a magical world, and these things need to be paid attention to, because you get taken down these. You get spirit puts things in front of you deliberately for you to learn that lesson, jump over that hump, like you just said, and then you could pay attention to it. So if you feel like you, because I'm getting like this. For me, my past lives are kind of. It's like it's a bit like Pink Bella Aloha. It's kind of a signal. I know she's there. I can kind of see her, but I can't hear it. You know what I mean? It's like that, but it's getting louder and louder and louder. And I think it's great that you're going to be helping people tune into this more and have a good ascension. Because what's your idea in terms of you guys thinking in terms of timelines and what this thing's going to look like for people watching this that I know are going to be asking that question?
Are you talking about the ascension process?
Yeah.
Wow, she's clear.
I'm on a new device.
Yes.
All those years in IT have worked out.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you, Mark. Nice to see you.
Good to meet you. So we were just in the middle of a question. Yeah. Do you want to take that on?
I didn't hear the question. Could you repeat it?
Do you guys want to see if you can phrase it in a way that makes sense?
Sure.
What was the question? You were asking about ascension. I know it was a looking. What does the ascension look like for people? Is that what you were asking?
Yeah. So there's going to be people. There's going to be people. All of these shows for me are kind of like, I call it frequency matching. The people that hear the message that need to hear it at the time they need to hear it, they'll hear it. But there's always people watching go, what does ascension look like? When's it going to happen? That is the kind of thing I'd like you guys. So we'll start with Pink Bella Aloha, because you haven't.
Yeah. Well, that's the big question, isn't it? We've all been waiting. I've been waiting since 2012. So I'm so great. I'm really grateful to be here on the show. And so what they've been sharing with me, like the councils of light that I've been working with, especially the Lyrans recently, is that we're waiting for the frequency of the collective to get to a certain level. But you know what? This is the year. And that's why I'm so excited about this project, because literally they had a conversation with me 2 days ago saying, we're preparing everyone who's called to come and spend this weekend with us for the Lionsgate. Like, so many Starseeds are going to be up and running and on mission this year. This is the year.
Yeah.
So I got so excited because I've been waiting like everyone else, right? It's like me trying to get on in here today. I'm in the waiting room, So I'm super excited. Yeah. I've been putting the call out with this council for any Starseed light worker, anyone that wants to get on mission right now, to come and join us, because it's going to accelerate everyone to the next level. Super excited to work with these ladies. I'm really, really grateful.
Yeah. How did you three get together?
Indy, do you want to take that?
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think I started on YouTube in 2017. And I always watched Lightstar and Pink Bella Aloha. Like, they were definitely teachers for me. And I've always looked up to both of them. And I've always have just thought that they were so unique and so authentic in the galactic code that they anchored. And I've really, truly seen them as teachers. So as I kept getting guided over the last year, because I just did a grid worker facilitator course, I got downloaded right after I completed that course. It was like, you need to now do Starseed consciousness. You need to focus on the Starseed part of it, because it's almost like a developmental phase into grid worker consciousness, because there's all these different phases in Ascension that kind of gets us to these mastery levels. And the development of Starseed consciousness was imperative to that, because if you're going to be a grid worker, someone who, you know, is aligned to their indigo templating, or is aligned to the different missions of a grid worker, which there's many, many different types of missions as a grid worker. Sometimes it's just, you know, healing the land. Sometimes it's extracting negative things from the land. Sometimes it's, you know, going on rescue missions, whatever it is. You have to have this fundamental celestial understanding, which is how the stars integrate into the earth, the Stargate systems on the planet, how we're connecting and evolving galactically. And so I just kept getting the guidance that I needed to go back to this part of it to really develop this. And so I just immediately knew. I knew it was like Lightstar, and they both came into my field. And I reached out, and you know, I've communicated with them for some time. You know, with Pink Bella Aloha, she's actually done healings on me and for me before in the past. And with Lightstar, I think I actually did her Starseed origin like a couple years ago. I did your chart. And I just knew that this was the galactic team to bring this forward. And so I reached out, and we just kind of developed a connection and trust and relationship in our sisterhood. And it's just been moving on since then into this amazing course development.
It is nice to see a bit of teamwork going on.
Yeah. I've been elevated just with all of us collaborating in the last couple of weeks. Like, I've moved into another frequency. All of us together. It's been amazing. So
I think we have, like, I feel like there's a lot of integrity there. There's just, we have like similar, I mean, we're all different. We're very different in our personalities and everything, but there's just a basis of this camaraderie between us that I really love. And I'm really excited to be bringing it, because I think, like I said, all of our different perspectives, all of our different experiences that we're going to bring to the table. And I think it's just going to be fabulous. I'm excited about all of it. And, you know, my one view about Ascension is, I believe that we've all already ascended. Okay.
True.
On different planets, on different universes, on different parallel lives and different experiences. We've already done this. Okay. And so a lot of us are here to, like, a lot of times we say, like, go to this Ascension class, go to this Ascension class. It's really just helping you to remember because we've already done this. And so I think it's kind of, once you get to that, like, it's not like a level that you have to attain, even though, you know, you go through structures and sometimes the forgetting process, right? Memory wipes, and then we have to start all over again, which I don't feel is really how it's supposed to be. It's just that these memory wipes happen. And from whatever, CERN, dark forces, all that stuff. And now we have to, as soon as we start remembering, it's like a cascade or a domino effect of remembering. And then that's when we start activating and doing it faster and faster and faster and faster. And so it's an acceleration process, really. And that's my view of Ascension. It's just an accelerated remembering process that we're all going through.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Pink Bella Aloha, what's these two lovely ladies have explained what they're teaching, but you have the internet. What's your piece of the puzzle?
So I woke up as a starseed in the 90s, like before the internet. And then I went to have a reading with somebody who does the kind of the work that we all did. And they let me know that I was a starseed, that I wasn't from here. And I was like, what? So I've been like back and forth with the Palladians since then. And but they snoozed me quite a bit because it wasn't time for me to be doing this work. But in 2017, around the solstice, I got the reawakening, and then they were saying, we need you to talk about starseeds now on your YouTube channel. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But right away I was talking about blue ray starseeds. So I'm going to be bringing in Ascension mechanics, talking about the chakra system, going up to the 12th chakra system and beyond, our blue ray frequency and what that means, and how it's keeping us all awake, like we came in with a specific frequency. And I'll also be talking about the Akashic records and doing live healings and clearings with everyone, and we'll be getting into soul contracts and all sorts of stuff. So I do quantum Akashic readings and clearings on a personal level. And then I also do group sessions as well. So I'm super excited to work with these ladies, and I feel like everything's blending in with each other. And I'm also going to be showing about our superpowers and using the violet flame and things like that to clear our energy in our home and get aligned with our mission. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of spiritual alchemy going on.
It's really going to be mission based.
Yeah,
it's really going to be mission based because it's kind of what the Starseed is meant to do here. Then the Starseed is meant to get on mission. They're supposed to align to, that is the ascent of the Starseed. It's the apex of it. And so we're going to really also take a lot of time to each one of us. We have a different segment, I think, in our teachings that will focus on getting people aligned to mission. And honestly, when I speak to individuals, through healing work or whatever it is, it's always the most common question. What is my mission? What is my purpose? What did I come here to do? That's what people want to know. Mm-hmm. And it's not a straightforward answer because it's like a development. It's a building process within yourself. And so we're going to really break that down so that way people can understand how to find that inspiration inside themselves, and also how to connect it and ground it. Because it can be really difficult, I think, for starseeds, because many starseeds, especially if you're really going through starseed celestial ascension, you're kind of out of body. You're kind of really up in this ultra spectrum where you can't really anchor things because it's so multidimensional, and you feel a little all over the place, and you're struggling with the grounding process, anchoring that in. And so, yeah, we're gonna kind of focus on all of those phases and how to really ground it here. Because it's imperative for starseeds to realize their power that they have within that, and how we are a force that is developing the new Earth prophecy. We are a part of that prophecy.
We are. Yeah.
What is that prophecy?
So there's many phases in that evolution. A lot of it has to do with the planetary architecture. Again, taking us into a grid worker, like the diamond architecture, the internal diamond sun, the inner mantle diamond oceans, and the inner disk of diamond architecture. So it has to do with a particular frequency that emits the God language or the God codes here, which allows us to build the new Earth, which is, what the new Earth looks like, which sometimes it's light cities. So it looks like light cities or light temples, healing technologies. Also the turning away from the artificial templating or the nefarious or the hijacked timelines. So taking us into the age of the original organic templating and body of the Earth, which is where we can live in harmony and peace with nature and the Earth and the spirit of the Earth.
Did I ever play you my New Earth poem?
I've heard a few of your poems now. One was on unity, but I don't know if I've heard that one.
Can I play your poem?
Absolutely.
Is that okay? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
He has great poems, by the way.
Yeah, I've been watching Mark's show for a while. Love your poems.
A new Earth is forming. A new era for humanity is dawning. Eru is rising from the stone of separation, gifting her fertility to the newborn sovereign nation, manifesting abundance in every single way. Era once again embraces the Dagda and the Fae, retrieving our voices from the masks of tribulation. Your tribe is calling. Hear it now. It's a time for celebration. This green isle, the beating heart of Gaia, pulsating with eternal love, forged from the emerald fire, inviting souls awake, all spirits from the ether, bare feet on the soil, dancing with our brothers and sisters, gathering as one. The future's here at last. Our consciousness evolves, and we dissolve the broken past. New Earth is here. It's here right now. Sense it all around you. Shake off your fears. Wipe away your tears. And feel the golden hue of God's eternal love bursting through every cell. It's time to toss your forsaken pennies into the universe's wishing well.
Wow.
I love that.
That is powerful.
Hey, like
Well done.
cheers.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
True
gonna be-
artist.
That's going to be the last poem in my book.
Oh, I love that you mentioned the emerald flame. So I work
Well,
with the emerald flame as well. Yeah.
Well, there's an Irish angle to all of this. You know, I've done a lot of shows about, you know, Ascension related to the map of Ireland, and Ireland being Atlantis, Ireland having the most amount of black magic put upon it across the world, Ireland being the most poisoned water in the world to close down the Pioneer
Yeah,
River.
I just got my goosebumps about that.
Yeah, I'm getting it as I'm saying it.
Yeah.
So there is a thing about this, and the spirit of Eru is this goddess. She's incredible, and she lives under the stone of separation, which is this place called Ishnok, which is, you know, and some of the sacred sites here are just off the charts. It's just, you know, the rest of the world's important. You know, why am I in Ireland? You know, I don't know. I've been pulled to this.
It's very magical. Ireland's very magical.
Yeah.
It's interesting because out of all the energies that I've ever connected to when it comes to Ireland, it's Eru.
Eru.
That's what comes through for me.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
I feel her very strongly now, but before I met her, I didn't know anything about it, and that's why I like sharing things like this, because it's, you know, we're all on a journey. Where I like the idea of we're walking each other home, you know, and that's why I was touched to see Indy working with you two guys, and it's been lovely to meet you and hear about this course. And if you're watching this, guys, the link to the course is below, and it starts in a couple of weeks, right? So
Yeah, I wanted to mention too, I made a coupon code for you, Mark, for all of your subscribers and listeners and family. It's lowercase Mark 22. That gives them 22 off of the course, so a little bit of a discount for our family here.
okay, cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's catch up for after you've done it with a few people that have done it with you, maybe in 5 or 6 weeks. Would you be up for that?
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Sounds awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because presumably if you're doing the course live, people can also access it later. Are you going to do it like that, or you just keep the live thing?
Yep, there's going to be downloads, replays available, lifetime access to it, actually. So
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, we would love to do that. I think that would be so much fun, and to bring that forward. I think it would be quite the roundtable.
Yeah, it'd be great. I love getting subscribers on. I
love it. Love
my
it.
favorite thing to do. Sometimes I get like 50 people on a Zoom call on a Friday night. It's great. Party at Mark.
Friday night party on Mark's channel.
Fun.
That's what I was doing. That's why before I started the YouTube channel, I was doing that during the lockdown. I was just having Zoom parties with people, and it was great fun. So I do a bit of that, but I've got to go. I'm out of time because I've got to go and do a live show on the Truth Tour, Truthathon thing and I'm already an hour late for it because all the clock changes.
Yeah,
I know. Mark, I was just going to add one more thing. I had this epiphany while we were all talking about what LIGHTSTAR shared. This course is really a container, a portal for all of us to help everyone who's going to join to remember more of who they are and to remember their mission. So that's just what came to me, is like, we really are all helping each other remember who we are. And that's what this course is all about. It's going to help all the Starseeds remember who they are and their soul mission. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Awesome.
Fantastic. Well, good luck with it. Lovely to meet you all.
Thank you so much for
Lovely
having
to meet
us on,
you. Thank
Mark.
you.
Great to meet you.
Have a great rest of the day, whatever time it is in America. I'll see you later.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye,
Mahalo
Mark.
nui loa. Bye.